and well met, adventurers, and welcome to the tavern for another installment of News Goblins. It is I, Jared, your humble dung merchant and raccoon shepherd, and with me, as always, is my goodly sorceress companion. Please introduce yourself, Master of the Arcane.
I'm Leslie, the Masteress of the Arcane.
This is not what this podcast is
Not
about.
what this is about at all.
I'm sorry.
We're actually a weekly news podcast for all things nerdy.
That's true. That's true. Leslie said I could do the intro, and I blew it.
You did fine. You built a world.
I blew it.
No, it was something.
I bit the big one.
Did. It was,
Okay, I feel
it
better.
happened.
Yeah, welcome to News Goblins. This is episode numero 4.
Yes, number 4. There are now an equal number.
Yeah, we have some actual podcasting equipment now.
We do. Actually, it's very snazzy.
We don't sound like we're trapped in a dumpster.
That does help.
Recording on a Walkman.
That would lend some indie authenticity, though, to the podcast.
Yeah, we don't need that. I'm ready to sell out at any moment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shake a dollar bill at me and I'm ready to sell out.
All right. What are we doing today, Leslie?
Okay, so we have some super quick updates. And usually when I say we have quick updates, I mean these are things I know of but have almost no information about, as the nerd world is wont to create.
Delicious.
Yeah, so Rag & Bone, which is a clothing company, is going to release a Star Wars line on December 1st.
Cool.
If you want to get your nerd on, like if you really want to be loud and proud about your Star Wars pride, this is not the line for you at all.
Do they make the kind of girl shirt you like with the big neck?
No. It's more of a just gender non-specific, but they have like a black sweater with the Imperial insignia on the breast, and they have some shoes that are they going more for the aesthetic of the world than just having a big shirt that says Star Wars. It's really cool looking.
Oh, okay. Because you weren't really selling me on it there.
It's not my thing.
Okay.
I like to be a little bit flashier with my
Leslie
nerdism.
needs bow necks or V-neck t-shirts, or she feels like a tiny man is choking her.
Yeah, I feel like I'm strangled by normal t-shirts. I don't know why you would wear them ever at all. Like, why would you want something on your neck all of the time?
Yes. She has the neck of a glass swan.
And on that note, this bullshit ladies fashion where everything has to have a goddamn choker on it can go right to the go away door.
I mean, I both respect what you're saying, and I'm a child of the 90s who loved the craft, so chokers all the time.
No, chokers never chokers. Anyway,
okay.
So that's cool. If you want to get your super fashionista Star Wars on, that's going to be a really cool line. And we haven't seen the whole thing, so I do kind of want the Rebel Alliance heels, not going to lie.
Cool.
Yeah. And we'll put a link to that on our Facebook and our Twitter.
I have a quick update if we're doing quick donut holes of information that we don't know that much about. I think it's worth mentioning that the new Punisher series for Netflix is starting its season on November 17th. So that is this Friday.
Cool.
Yeah. I have super loved all of not all of them. I have loved a lot of the Marvel Netflix shows. Really liked Daredevil, both seasons. Super liked Luke Cage. Couldn't get into Johnny Kung Fu fella.
What
was his name?
I'm totally blanking on it. I think I
Hmm.
knew it before you said, now I can just think Iron Kung Fu Dragon?
I'm a rich American boy who went to the mystical Orient and spent 5 years there, so now I can do Kung Fu better than anyone. Is that the general premise?
Also, the coolest part of his story is that to get superpowers, he had to punch a dragon in the heart. That's not a metaphor. He literally had to punch a dragon in his heart. Iron Fist.
That's rude.
That's
Iron
who it
Fist. Okay.
To get his powers, and they just glossed over that completely.
Well, I'm excited. I dug the Punisher's cameos in the Daredevil series, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We shall see.
I don't know. I'm worried about them a little bit because I'll be curious to see how interesting they can make a dude who shoot bad guys. But it seems to be a character study, and that gives me some hope.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. I worry a little bit that they are running as fast as they can away from their diversity, which, like Luke Cage, I think, was one of their best. And last I heard, they'd sort of canceled their attempts at, giving him more time. Which sucks.
Yeah, Luke Cage might have been my favorite one so far.
Yeah, ditto.
Although I did love Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin too.
Oh, yeah.
So I could stare at him being a troubled bad guy as long as they care to put that on the interwebs.
Yeah, he's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Lego is releasing a Women of NASA set for Christmas.
Cool.
Which is awesome. So it's a historical set with a lot of famous, Sally Ride is going to be in there, obviously. That's really exciting. That's going to be really cool. I'm going to try not to buy all of them.
I've always been enamored with Lego, but I've always found them to be incredibly expensive.
They're so expensive.
So I think I got sort of the generic version of Lego often.
Yeah, I know my brother had boxes and boxes full of them.
Yeah, we didn't do the Lego. I actually was super nerdy about paleontology when I was a kid, so I had a Lego version of dinosaur bones called Bone Age.
I believe that you showed those to me the other day.
Yeah, I still have some remnants of my Bone Age collection, but I have to warn you, don't try to Google Bone Age.
Yeah, that sounds a little
bad things are going to happen.
Sounds a little
not safe for work.
My only other quick update is this week we have Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon coming out.
Do we really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay.
So those are the big releases for this week.
Oh, man. We got to get our PlayStation 4.
We need to move into the new house, and then we can buy large electronics. Them's the rules.
I don't know if I've complained about this on this, our media outlet, but our wireless software went out hardware went out on our
We've
Xbox
complained
One.
about it at least 3 times.
Well, I miss it.
I know.
I miss our video games.
I got home and I wanted to play Overwatch so bad, and it was like, oh, nope. I have to be productive.
I figured out I could play the new Wolfenstein on my laptop. So.
Have you done any of that?
Yeah, I did.
Are you liking it?
I do like it. People were not kidding when they said that the first 20 minutes are brutal.
Really?
It is a sadness fest.
Huh.
You're going to love it, though.
Because it's a sadness fest?
Well, you are somebody who watches Bridezilla and...
how dare you?
And Catfish.
You're throwing me under the bus. You're just going to air all of my dirty laundry for everyone to hear about.
You love Dance Moms. So the beginning of this video game is the Dance Moms of video games, plus first-person shooter action. If you love Dance Moms and you hate Nazis, that's the level of depression you're going to run into.
I mean, those things are true about
Here's what I will say about this. I'm ragging on Wolfenstein here, but it is appropriately brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it should be.
It's dealing with topics of racism and genocide, and it's not shying away from the implications of using that as the theme for a video game. So
you kind of buried the lead there. I feel like you could have just said genocide, period.
Well, yeah.
Racism and genocide.
And genocide.
Yeah.
And poor manners.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
And not holding doors for people.
But so far, I mean, it's engrossing. As you well know, we are both doing NaNoWriMo, the National Novel Writing Month.
Are we doing that?
So I'm trying very hard not to disappear for 12 hours at a time into this video game, which is my usual MO.
How's your NaNoWriMo going?
Good. I'm at about 7,000 words. How about you?
I'm at 18,500.
Yeah, well, you were on track. You were much faster than I am.
I'm not like killing it. I am just I'm exactly on track right now.
Yeah, I'm getting it done. Slow and steady wins the race. I'm not going to win this race.
No, you're not going to win
this one will go to the rabbit.
Maybe. I mean, again, we're moving. So that's going to be a lot of days where my computer is going to be in a box.
Yeah.
And no writing is going to get done.
We'll get it done. I believe in us.
All right. So, on to other things.
Other things.
So, I had a friend comment on my Facebook wall the other day, and I almost exploded. I have no idea how I missed this news.
Yeah.
But Blizzard is releasing a World of Warcraft classic.
What is
like
that?
Old school, before all of the expansions, World of Warcraft on some of its servers.
Like the old nightmare where you didn't get a mount until level.
See, I don't know.
40
I don't know how
and-
far they're going to go. All I know is that story-wise, they're going back before all the expansions. They're being pretty tight-lipped about it.
I feel like they've made it easier and easier and easier for the player who's just starting out. And I get why they're doing it from a marketing perspective. I know they've lost a lot of players, so I think they've done a lot of their expansions specifically to get new players on board and to lessen the burden of climbing that mountain up to a level at which you can start engaging in raids and the newest downloadable content, right?
Yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, WoW's problem has always been there are like 4 games going on. There's a PvP game, there's the grinding game, there's lower rating, and then there's the few guilds that are good enough, have the gear to do the high level raids.
Yeah.
And the movement between those 4 games has almost always been a problem.
Yeah. The game has never been catered for my particular weirdness, in that, you know, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I enjoy grinding. I enjoy the role-playing aspect of it, where I just go and I build a character and I fight for every inch as I get more powerful. So that was fun to me. It was fun when it seemed like getting that first mount was an impossible distance to travel. So when I came back to the game later and, you know, a full day of playing practically, and you could have a mount, it really kind of lessened for me the feeling of accomplishment, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand that. I mean, WoW is probably where my possibly problematic competitive video game nature came out, because I started playing in high school with my friends.
That was the first time you killed you a man.
That was the first time I tasted blood, and I was hooked. But no, we just played on a PvP server, and we engaged in PvP raids, and I was hooked. I mean, I really was. And we ended up, like, when we stopped playing, we were, I think, number 2 or 3 on the server.
Wow.
So, you know.
That is so nerdy.
I know.
Well, okay. I've thrown you under the bus a lot, but don't I recall you telling me that your guild, you designed a program where people had to show you their report cards?
Oh, yeah. No, we had this issue where, because we were all very young at the time, we all, at that point in our lives, wanted to be teachers, all of us. None of us are, one of us did end up being a teacher. Good for you, Tom. So we found out that one of the kids in our guild had failed, like completely failed all of his classes. And his mother actually sent us a message, because we had forums. Of course, we had forums.
Of course.
You know, off of Blizzard, where we could arrange raids and discuss things. And his mother went on the forums and was very angry that she blamed us. So we came up with a system where if you were under 18, you had to send us a picture of your report card. And if you were failing any classes, you could play, you could stay in the guild, but you weren't allowed to go on any raids.
So what you're telling me is you were the room mother of WoW.
We were. I mean, we took it very seriously. And I remember actually I had to kick off my brother for one of the raids because he wasn't doing...
Oh, that is brutal.
He wasn't doing well in one of his classes.
Ice in your veins.
But we were very serious about it. Like, we were very serious about... And at the time, you have to remember, like, this was the time of, like, the hot coffee conspiracy. And there was this sort of view of video games as corruptive.
Oh, sure.
And we were very much like...
Not sure if that's ever gone away.
It hasn't, but we were very much like, it isn't corruptive if you play responsibly. So
Sure.
we were very determined to play responsibly and to kind of leave that legacy for
That's
people.
great.
I don't know if it worked.
Didn't we just find one of your custom guild sweatshirts in the garage?
Yes, somebody made me a guild sweatshirt with my WoW name on it. I was Lizette on Urson, if anyone played with me.
All right, too much.
If I murdered you, I'm sorry.
Too much information.
Is that too much information?
I don't know.
Probably not.
All right, so are you going to try the new WoW Classic?
Nope, not even a chance.
Okay.
Here's the thing, because I was thinking about it, and I said this when she posted it on my Facebook wall too. I occasionally think I miss WoW, and I miss it like a memory. Like I miss it like a place. I miss it a lot. Like the nostalgia I have for it sometimes is like an ache. But what I miss is the guild. What I miss is those people. And we've all moved on. We're all doing other things, and we can't go back.
You can never go home again.
You can never go home again.
Astaroth. Well, and I am the opposite of you. I don't think I will play again, though, because I don't want real human beings in the real world putting pressure on me within a video game. So I still mostly like single-player games, but the times at which I will enjoy a multiplayer game online are situations like Overwatch, where they're very sort of brief, limited transactions, and the transaction is shooting each other.
Right, and you can turn your mic off.
Right, which I never play with a headset because I don't particularly want to hear from anyone.
Right.
I get enough talking to real people during the day.
And I get that. Yeah, absolutely. So do you think you will play
Nope.
Vanilla WoW? Yeah, I don't think this is for us.
Also, it's the subscription fee. Yeah. I don't know. I'm becoming less and less willing to do a subscription fee for a video game. There's too much good content out there.
Yeah, there's too many things.
It's like how I don't make myself finish a bad novel anymore that I started. There are too many books out there. I don't need to spend my time on imperfect things.
Do not have time for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What else you got?
Do we want to do sad news or space news next?
Well, should we do news from the Orient Express?
Is that a thing?
No. Well, I just wanted to mention I went and saw the Murder on the Orient Express film. Film, I call it, cinema, because I know it's been getting a few criticisms. I saw a number of critics say that it was boring, and I want to here and now defend its honor. I recently reread the novel, the Agatha Christie novel, earlier this week, and then I watched the film adaptation from the 70s and really enjoyed that. And I went and saw the new version when it came out in theaters, and I just really liked it. I will say this. I can see where a critic is coming from calling it boring, because I think this is one of those movies that was mismarketed. I think they tried to market it like an action movie a little bit, and it's not. It's an Agatha Christie mystery. So the appeal of it is in the mood, in being transported to a specific kind of glamorous liminal space on a train, going between countries and exotic locales and interesting, diverse people, and sort of the whodunit aspect is what's interesting. So what's interesting is the intrigue and spending time with these sort of absurd caricatures of people. So if any of that sounds interesting, I guess I just want to recommend that you go check it out.
I mean, that does sound interesting.
There you go.
That sounds good.
You're welcome.
I mean, we could go see that, or we could go see Thor again.
That'd be the third time for me.
I need to see it again.
Okay, let's do space news.
Okay, space news.
Rather than sad news.
So, I'm going to butcher this name, but I'm going to try. I really tried hard to find a recording of it.
Okay, everybody quiet down. Let's listen to Leslie butcher this name.
I believe it's Ier Arkavi.
Just terrible.
Yeah, that was awful. I am really sorry. This is what happens when you read all the time and you don't. I don't watch that much TV.
It is okay.
I just read, and then I'm like, oh, now I have to say these things out loud. Anyway.
Professor Strunk of the Strunk and White fame used to say that if you don't know how to pronounce a word, say it loudly. So I think the idea is we all have words we've read but never heard pronounced aloud. So just go for it.
Okay. So Arkavi in 2014 discovered a supernova. He recorded it and kind of moved on as soon as it it got really bright, and he's like, oh, that's a supernova. And then it started to dim, and he's like, okay, supernova over. My busy schedule is now going to move on. Mm-hmm. But he continued to just have computers track it. So recently he went back and looked at that tracking and realized that the supernova got bright again and dimmed and got bright and dimmed, which is weird because once a supernova blows up, that should kind of be it.
Yeah, I would think.
So they went back and looked at historical records and found the same supernova pictured in 1954. And then again a couple years later. So this supernova has apparently been refusing to die for all of this time. And most of the reporting on that has, in fact, been reported that way. It's a supernova that refuses to die.
It's an undead supernova.
It's an undead supernova.
My God.
But I did a tiny bit of research and found out that it's probably not a supernova.
Okay.
It's a pulsational pair instability.
Okay, sure.
Which occurs in stars around 100 times the mass of our star. Basically what happens is the center gets too hot and it just blows off the outside layer. But then the center of it it doesn't stop being a star. It's just a slightly less hot star.
Pulsational what?
A pulsational pair instability.
Pulsational pair instability.
Or a PPI, if that's much easier.
Yeah, a PPI.
A PPI. So the PPI can look like a supernova, and it can do this for millions of years before it eventually collapses into a black hole.
Does this thing have a name?
The star?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to name it?
Well, since PPI sounds a little like PI, I thought it could have its own TV show, like
Oh, man.
Supernova, PPI.
I like it.
Well,
that's
that's
good.
cool.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
So it blew the outer shell off.
And has been doing this for decades.
Wow. Neat.
And so we keep seeing it and then moving on. And then finally his team put it together.
Well, that is cool.
Yeah.
Pulsational. I'm going to try to work that
Pulsational.
into everyday conversation. Hey, if we're outing ourselves in embarrassing things, do you want to talk about the LARP we did yesterday?
I sure do, Jared.
Oh. So, I don't know. Should we say a little bit about what a LARP is in general?
Yeah, I mean, we can. I don't know if we need to out ourselves as nerds on a nerd podcast.
No, we don't. But there are different levels of nerd.
We all know why we're here.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and technically, I guess this game doesn't need to necessarily be a LARP or live action role playing game. It is an independent game created by Luke Crane called Inheritance. And the premise is that you're a couple families of Vikings trying to figure out the inheritance of land and holding after a patriarch of the family dies.
And there is a pretty wide variety of LARPing that happens in LARP. So there's the LARPs where, you get completely dressed up and you have weapons and what you do with those weapons has effects and you're running around a field and there's battles. And then there's LARPs where the only differentiation between it and a tabletop roleplay game is that you are standing for some of it.
Right, and that's more like what this was.
Yeah.
I think the creator actually called it a scenario rather than a LARP.
Yeah.
But picture these, what do we have? What would you call these? We had these little pouches with a picture of our character on them that we wore around our neck.
They're like name badges,
Yeah.
except they were full of stuff.
Game-related stuff. There were little secret envelopes that you couldn't open until certain triggering events during the game.
I had a packet of poison cards, for instance.
Yeah, they each of these pouches had a booklet, basically with what your character could do and what your goals were. So then the scenario unfolds in 4 sections, and you're kind of trying to accomplish the goal of your one particular character. And of course, the game is designed to put you
against
Yeah.
everyone else. Yeah.
So I had fun. I was a little nervous about it. Even though I am a huge nerd, I do have to admit that I sometimes feel a little ridiculous trying to role play in a live action kind of way.
I am not always comfortable in live action role play. There are some people who that is their natural thing. They gravitate towards that. I am not one of those people.
Yeah, we play role playing games just about every other weekend, but we do it usually sitting at a table, hiding behind a beverage and a bowl of snacks and rolling dice.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why DMing is sometimes hard for me, is that the DM has to be a little bit more willing to make a fool of themselves.
Performative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do love DMing, though.
But I have to say, we both really enjoyed this experience. I don't know. I think I might want to buy the game. I think
Yeah,
it
it
was.
was
I think it
fun.
was a good party game.
It was definitely fun.
It was introduced to us and ran by our friend who is a indie game guru, Kira Magrin, and she is at Kira Ansi, Kira Nansi. I can read. On Twitter, and she'd be good for you to follow if you just wanted some more news on indie gaming
And she writes her own games too.
yeah. But that was a lot of fun.
It was. It helps that we got to dress up in anything that we do where we get to dress up in ridiculous costumes becomes about 90% more fun.
Word.
Too. Absolutely.
We love dressing up in silly
I do
hats.
love dressing up, and I got to wear a flower crown, and that was just good.
All right, what's your sad news?
All right,
I think I have a guess. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
So the sad news is the world is on fire.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's sad. It's
Sappy.
bittersweet, kind of, because it's not news that there are a lot of men in Hollywood and in creative industries that take advantage of their positions to assault and harass women. The good part of that news is that a lot of them are being held accountable.
Yeah, finally.
Right.
I mean, it has been, you're right, shocking but not shocking.
Yeah.
The number of high-profile examples of sexual harassment and misconduct and outright assault that we have had over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, but the fact is that those things aren't news. Like,
No.
I mean, we all knew. I mean, there's been jokes about a lot of these people, in other shows.
Yeah, open secrets.
Open secrets, absolutely. So, since this is a nerd-specific podcast, I think we need to talk about the ways that this has touched. And I assume it's going to get worse. It has to get. It's going to get worse, which is good. Let's cleanse it in fire.
Well, and
nuke it from space.
part of, I think, tying it to the nerd community is addressing these arguments I see where I see somebody commenting on one of these situations, and it's clear to me that what they are lamenting is the loss of entertainment potential from one of these entertainers.
Right, and what they're missing is we might be losing this from that entertainer, but you have to imagine how many people that entertainer has scared away or has silenced.
Right.
Like how many women or men in some cases have been brilliant, have been geniuses, have had so much to give to our creative nerdy worlds and have been harassed or assaulted and left.
Also, what they're missing is that, fuck it, it's entertainment. I mean, we're talking about real human beings who have been victimized and terrorized.
Yeah.
It matters.
And also, there are consequences sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah, I will speak as a guy nerd growing up in guy nerd communities. I see the attitude again and again, and this isn't new or shocking, but that women are commodities to be gained, that women are Rubik's Cubes to be solved, and if you just solve the puzzle, you'll get sex or status or whatever you want. And the idea that everybody deserves to have a sexual partner.
Well, and it's the fake nerd girl thing, right? Like this weird accusation that women are so inscrutable and so devious that they're actually pretending to be nerds, not to have sex with you, but to deny you sex.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to this. Guy nerds, women are dudes. You need to just realize that there's nothing mystic about them. There's nothing that you need to figure out or decode.
We are not elves.
No, they are not magical angel baby elves. They do live for centuries,
That's not a factor.
They do have +2 to dexterity and have an easier time learning arcane magic. But
But
other than that,
But we're dudes. Treat us like dudes. We
Right.
just want to be treated like your buddies. Like we're here to play video games and role play and roll dice and make comics.
yeah,
That's it. End of list.
yes. So you don't want creeps. You don't want to be giving your entertainment money, your entertainment attention to creeps who victimize other people. You just don't. Because I have news for you, and Leslie kind of hinted at this earlier. There are brilliant, genius entertainers out there who just haven't gotten their shot yet.
Yes.
And they haven't gotten their shot because a lot of these spots are occupied. So when we lose a rich, successful, high-profile entertainer for a reason that we should very much lose them for, it's going to create space for somebody else, somebody who isn't an ass.
But one of the things we do need to do, and this is what I wanted to talk about specifically, is we need to go back and realize that these sins go back in time.
Oh, sure.
And they have destroyed the careers of people who have tried to bring these things to light before.
Mm-hmm.
And to that end, we saw a couple of high-profile cases sort of come back into the news, nerd-wise. The one that I'd want to talk about is science fiction writer Nancy Collins. Sort of blew the whistle on Edward Kramer way back 2012, 2013. And he was using money from Dragon Con to defend himself against accusations of child molestation.
Jeez.
Which he eventually pled guilty to.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Con, of course, because of all of the fallout, no longer exists.
Yeah.
But Nancy Collins also, she was harassed endlessly. She got death threats. She was ostracized from the community. And she's had a lot of support in the recent weeks, notably from writers like Neil Gaiman and Tim Wagner, to kind of be like, hey, guys, it's great that we're talking about these issues now, but, like, we have been dicks in the past.
This wasn't a secret.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that underscores the point that this doesn't happen in a vacuum.
No.
I mean, these famous high-profile people are not abusing in secret, really. People are creating the atmosphere in which they get away with this.
Yes. And while we're talking about this, let's talk about less high-profile things. I want to talk about the missing stare idea, which is, and this is a metaphor. It would be like if your front steps, one of the stairs was broken, and you couldn't walk on them. And instead of ever fixing the missing stair, you just told every new person who came in to watch out for that stair.
Yeah.
And the missing stair is the person in your Dungeons and Dragons group, in your, in your club, in your comic book club, who you all know is creepy and inappropriate and maybe even has been talked to a couple times and is not getting it. And you have to realize that you're sacrificing everyone else's comfort and enjoyment to protect that one person.
Yeah, laughing it off is part of the problem.
Yeah. And it sucks. It's hard. We have had to face that before.
Yeah.
In our groups, where there's one person that, everybody loves. He's fun and he's funny and he won't stop touching Melissa or whatever.
Yeah.
He's got to shape up or go, period.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There isn't a lot of time to negotiate about this stuff, because negotiating with it is what allows it to go on for years and years and do more damage that echoes up and down the timeline.
Right.
It's just you gotta deal with it, and it sucks. Yeah.
It does. It absolutely sucks.
All right. There, we did your sad news.
That's the sad news.
Okay. Hey, it's important stuff.
It is. It really is important.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody, men and women, take this moment to reflect on your group and your life and see where you can do better.
And where you are missing stairs.
Right. Where are your missing stairs?
All right. Hey, you want to go pack some boxes?
Yeah, let's go pack some more boxes. We're almost done. Home stretch.
Home stretch.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We would love to see a review from you on our iTunes. Please hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. If there's something that you want to see covered or you think we missed, just let us know, and we would love to cover it.
I want emails, damn it. Email me at newsgoblins@gmail.com, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, no. Okay.
Our dogs are impatient.
There's some sort of dog tornado outside.
Dear.
We got to go.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.